Hello everyone, this is Douglas from Other Than Intended Purpose, Jack's behind the camera. Today we are going to be responding to an open tag, and I will put a link to the original video in the description. And it was, in no particular order, your 5 favorite blade steels. Now, I've used a lot of steels over the years, considering that I have been carrying knives for literally 50 years. And while there are some on this table that have been in the super steel category, at some point 440A was considered a super steel. So anybody that says, well, it has to be a super steel or it's nothing, okay, that's their opinion. My opinion may vary. A couple of the steels I brought more than one of, but I basically have my 5 here in front of me. Let's get started. The first category is 1095, and it's actually two chunks in one, because there's K-Bar has a proprietary 1095 that's 1095 Crovan. And so I brought a couple of examples of 1095 and 2 examples of K-Bar Beckers that use the 1095 Crovan. Anyone who's watched the channel before knows that my favorite field knife is my brother's a Bushcraft Fieldcraft knife. And this is 1095 steel. It's made by Tops. It is everything I think I need in a field knife. It's got a nice strong spine. It's not a real sharp 90 anymore. It used to be, but it will scratch a ferro or scrape a ferro rod. It's got a little bit of a finger protector, so you can do some thrusting with it. It's just an all-around, well-made, full tang knife. The other 1095 I have is even more of a traditional bushcraft knife, even though this is a modern version. And this is the Essie PR4. And this knife shape, very specifically, is a Kephart. And Kephart knives are designed to be a bushcraft field knife. So again, full spine or full tang, very nice 1095 knife. The only downside to 1095 in my opinion is you have to be really cautious, because while I live in a very humid area, I'm sorry, we have not done a video in like 4 months. There's been a combination of I've had some health issues, and it has been raining so hard we've been looking for that guy Noah that's building a boat in his yard. The ground right now is sopping wet. This just happens to be the first really nice day we've had in a while that I wasn't in the hospital.
2 weeks where it couldn't decide whether it wanted heavy winds, heavy rain, or heavy hail,
and
or
a little
all
bit
three
of
at
sleet.
the same time.
There was a little bit of sleet, and where I actually live is like elevation 20 feet above sea level. If you lean out from our yard, you can see the bay from our yard down the street. But in some of the higher elevations in this county, they had snow.
Yes.
Okay. For K-Bar, I picked 2 that are very good field knives, one of which is what I would consider a primary field knife. The other one is my large knife chopper wood processor Be Scary knife. For the primary one, again, this is a modern interpretation of a very classic knife. This is the Nesmuk. It's the BK19 Nesmuk. That blade shape is the Nesmuk blade shape. But it has a really nice belly on it. It works really well for skinning. this little hump right here, which is not quite a harpoon, it's more of a curve than a harpoon would be, but gives you a good place to put your finger for control for skinning. But it does have a good spine on it, although I kind of modified that to make it a better spine. Really good knife. It comes in a Kydex sheath with a nylon stretcher on it, or belt loop on it. The other Crovan steel knife that I brought did not come in this sheath. Doug Trout made me this sheath a few years ago, and it has gotten a lot of use, and it is still so tight that you really got to pull that sucker out. It also has a smaller knife on it, and a fire kit, and a boo-boo kit. This is the beast. Which side's the clean side? That's actually clean. That's just what I've done to the blade over the years. It's been cleaned. That's just the condition the coating is in. This is the BK9. Same as the BK is for Becker K-Bar, and that is Ethan Becker Designs, made by K-Bar. And this is the 9-inch Combat Bowie. But it works really well for splitting wood and processing wood. You can do light machete chopping with it. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but the coating has not survived being mine. But anyway, that's the end of the 1095 Crovan. Ignore that one, it's not part of the video. My next knife was a gift, and I had never had this steel before, and now that I have used it, I am extremely impressed with its toughness, its durability, its ability to hold an edge, and still not be that hard to sharpen. The problem with some of the super steels is they are so good at edge retention, they are a pain in the ass to sharpen unless you are at home with your full sharpening setup. You can't just use a small diamond stone in the back of your belt to strop some of these steels. This is S3V. This is an LT Wright Bushcrafter. It has a little bit of a cutout for your finger, which gives you a little bit of that finger guard without actually sticking out. Micarta scales, full tang. The S3V is a beastly steel. I have done a lot of work on this, and it's hard to find a scratch on it. Oh, there's one. But for the most part, it is really hard to find any scratches on this. I have never had the edge roll on it. I've had it be less sharp, and stropping brought it back. I've actually never sharpened this. I have stropped it because it holds its edge that well. But S3V will sharpen easier than some of the other super steels. Number 3. This one was actually a gift.
Hold on. We're going to take a second. People walking by. And we're back.
Okay, this steel is LMAX, and it's one of those super steels I told you that's actually kind of hard to sharpen in the field. But I do use this sometimes around town. I need to get a different sheath for it because it's designed for scout carry. This is supposed to have your belt on it and hold it this way on your belt. And in this state, you can't do that. It has to be hanging vertically from your belt and visible because it's more than 2 inches long. But this is the Rainier Knives Base Camp, and again, I'm lucky. So far, I've only had to strop it to keep it like hair popping, scary sharp. But it is a full tang. It's got that little bit of a finger guard on there. But the steel is what we're talking about today, not the knife. And LMAX holds an edge. I have used this a lot. More inside my cave, opening packages, or breaking down cardboard, cutting sausages. That seems to be a theme on this channel, is cutting sausages. But so far, just my strop has kept it in good shape. And LMAX is very resistant to corrosion and outside. Modi, calm down.
Come here.
He doesn't like the noises over there.
Or staying in one place for too long.
Oh, that too. Now we're going to get into some smaller knives, because we're going to, one of my favorite steels is more or less used in mid-range or upper budget folding knives. And I've got two of those here. This one, oh, I'm sorry, the steel is 154 CM. CM is a crucible metal. That means it starts out as a powder, and they can blend it up the way they want it to be much cleaner. And then when it's heated, it becomes the steel. So, this one I got from a guy that's in one of the knife forums that I'm in. And it is a freaking beast is what it is. This is the Kaiser Sheepdog XL. And I've got big hands. And that is not a small piece of steel. But this is 154 CM. It holds an edge really well. You do have to be cautious of scratches and the sharpened edge. You want to keep a little oil on it. But other than that, this is a very, very good, solid pocket knife steel. For pocket knives, it is about my favorite steel. Now, this is a little bit painful to do, but it's got, this is how you open this one. Ah, not with my finger, you don't. This is a little take two. This is a little painful to do, but this is how, for me anyway, but this is how you open this one. But yeah, that is 154 CM. I have one more example of 154 CM, and it is with
any blade that sticks up that much above the scale, I really like grabbing the blade and dropping the handle to open it.
True. But then you're in a weird position to use it. And usually if you're trying to one-hand open... We'll talk about that later. This is one of my favorite knives, and it's 154 CM. It's a flipper. It's the Beglighter XL by Kaiser. It's a button lock, so you do not have to put your fingers in front of the blade to close it. But the flipper is an integral part of the blade, so it is a flipper, not an automatic. It is California legal. And if you live on the worst coast, you have to worry about things like that. But, so 154 CM, really, really good edge retention, really reliable, durable steel. It doesn't roll much. It's really easy to keep sharp. The last one is a proprietary steel by Bowler. And they make it and then they let people use it. And one of the people that uses it quite a bit is Petrified Fish. No, we have not become a history channel about cooking. Petrified Fish is a knife company. This is the Petrified Fish Beluga, and it's in Bowler K110 steel. I need to keep this back because I actually nicked my jacket opening this knife the other day. This has a front flipper, which oddly enough does not hurt my arm because of the motion of it. I'm not trying to flick. You put your thumb on it and roll it open. But so Bowler K110, it has decent rust resistance to it. It has really nice edge retention. And when it is heat treated properly, it is very durable. Petrified Fish happens to heat treat very well. This particular one, I won in a drawing from Said Stevie. If you're not watching Said Stevie's channel, you should go watch him. he's sillier than I am. And he has something against pickles. But that is my 5 favorite steels. I'm going to throw one more out as a honorable mention. Mostly because it is a really good, solid, hard-working steel that is tougher than nails. It does have a lot of rust problems, but for some reason, a couple of years ago, people decided they didn't like it anymore because it wasn't fancy enough or something. It's D2 tool steel. And I was looking through my knives, what do I have in D2? And I don't have very many just because it's not offered very much. I did have one folder, but it was a thumb stud only open, and I already had one that's going to hurt my arms, so I didn't want to bring 2. And I have this Kaiser brain cramp harpoon. Oh, remember I was saying that wasn't quite a harpoon? That's a harpoon, where it really comes up to a peak instead of just being a rolled. That word that means what I'm thinking.
Indentation.
No. Convex curve. So D2 is a viable knife steel. It just doesn't get very much love. And because of that, it's not used as much anymore, and I just don't happen to have very many. Again, this one is set up for scout carry, so I can't carry this one around town. But I do use it in my cave. Actually, I used it last night cutting up my dinner. We had pork chops last night. So, thank you very much for watching, if you're still here. Get out into the woods and enjoy yourself, but remember, the best equipment in the world doesn't do you any good if you don't practice with your equipment and your skills. Get out in the woods, have fun, learn your skills. Take care.